everyone, my name is Arohi and welcome to my channel Code with Arohi. So guys, in this video we will see the practical implementation of StackGAN. So basically see guys, if you'll visit my channel, under playlist I have one playlist with the name of GANs, Generative Adversarial Networks. So this video, okay, let me open this playlist and you can see that in this playlist I have multiple videos, and the last video which I have uploaded in this particular playlist is StackGAN, right? So this video is the theoretical part, like what is the layer architecture of StackGAN, what StackGAN does, and how we can use StackGAN, right? So all those things are present in this particular video, and today's video is the next part of StackGAN, in which I'll show you the practical implementation of StackGAN, right? So guys, before moving to the practical implementation, just let me brief you what StackGAN is, because while writing today's code, so we are going to need all those concepts which we have started in last video. So let me just brief you once in a minute what this StackGAN does and what are the different areas and stages we have in StackGAN, so that you can relate when I'll teach you the practical concept today. Okay, so this is the layer architecture. This is the image which I have shown you in my previous video. So what we are doing over here is the task which we have discussed in our last video of StackGAN was the task image text to image translation. Means we will give a text input to our algorithm, and our algorithm will will generate an image on the basis of text. So for example, this text. So we are giving this text to our StackGAN algorithm. What this text is, this car is of red color. So on the basis of this text, our algorithm will generate an image, right? And how our algorithm will generate an image? Our algorithm will try to find the visual detail which is present in this text, and on the basis of that visual detail, our generator will generate the image, and our discriminator will try to find out whether the image is a fake image or a real image, right? So what process we have followed to perform that? So this is the text we are giving to our algorithm. Then at next stage, what we are doing is we are converting this text into a embedding vector. Okay, so for embedding vector, means for converting this text into a embedding vector, we can use word2vec. These are the pre-trained models. These are already available. There is no need to write a whole code for that. So we have already available models. We can use those models to get embedding vector. Okay, so word2vec is one of the embedding vector model, and this embedding, you can use embedding or word2vec for converting your text into a embedding vector. And what this embedding vector is? Embedding vector simply means assigning a number. Basically our algorithm don't understand words. We have to convert our data into numbers, in integers, right? So these models will give you a integer encoded data. Means it will assign unique number to all the words which are present in our data set, and it will provide us a dense vector with fixed length. Okay, so basically what we are doing, we are converting our words into a number of fixed length, and these two models can do that functionality for us. We just need to call them. Okay, so once you converted your input text into an embedding vector, next stage is conditioning augmentation. Conditioning inside this particular stage, what we are doing is, this is the embedding vector which we are getting from this model, right? This embedding vector we are getting from this, and that embedding vector is for this particular text. Okay, on that embedding vector we are adding some random noise. So guys, in GAN networks, we start the initial process by adding a random noise, and we initially start with a vector of 100 dimension. We generally choose 100 value, because in most of the papers of GAN they have started with the random noise of size one dimensional array of 100 value. So I am, in my today's video, I'm also going to choose 100 as a random noise, but you can work with different values, okay? But why we are choosing 100? Because in most of the papers they have used 100, okay? So you are adding, now we are adding that embedding vector, we are concatenating that embedding vector that with that random noise, and we will get some d-dimensional array. That d-dimensional array will become the input to a stage 1 of StackGAN. So guys, in StackGAN we have two stages. This is a stage 1, this is a stage 1, and this is a stage 2, right? So this d-dimensional array will become an input to the stage 1. Now in stage 1 we have generator and discriminator. The task of generator and discriminator is same. Generator will generate an image and discriminator will try to discriminate whether that given sample is a fake sample or a real sample, okay? So what is the input to this generator? The data embedded vector, right? We are what we want is, we want to generate an image from text. That text can get converted into embedding vector, and then we have applied conditioning augmentation on it. Now that text will become the input to generator. Now generator will try to understand the visual detail which is present in that particular text embedding, and will try to generate an image of low resolution, right? So the stage 1 is, see why these StackGANs are very good in their working, because they work in stages. The stage 1 is responsible, stage 1 is, you know, giving us output on of a low resolution image. So what does it mean? Low resolution simply means this stage 1 generator is responsible for capturing the, you know, a rough detail of the image. Rough detail simply mean what is the color of the image, color of the object, and what is the shape of it. So these basic things, it is not working in depth, okay? So you can see the generated image at stage 1. So it is roughly telling us that the color of the object is red, and it is roughly telling us the shape, right? So this is a low resolution image, and this low resolution image we are getting from stage 1. And so the idea behind these two stages are simply means, like we want to train our algorithm on simple problems first, and then we will once our algorithm learn the simple problem, then we will you know, our algorithm will work on the complex problems. So this is a low resolution simply means a simple problem, and high resolution in second stage means complex problem, okay? So over here this generator will provide us an image of size 64 into 64, right? Why 64 into 64? Because in StackGAN paper they have defined that this generator will give generated image of resolution this only, right? So this is the image, fake image generated by our generator, and this is the real sample from our data set. Now we are giving these two images with the embedding vector, okay? Discriminator will always get input in the form of pair. Pair simply means image with the text. Image with the text, right guys? If you don't remember why I'm saying this, you can check my previous video. The link is given in description section of StackGAN. There I have explained in detail what kind of pairs we are using. But always remember that discriminator will accept an input in the form of pair. Pair means the generated image and the embedding vector. Real image with the embedding vector, right? And finally discriminator is a classifier. The task of discriminator is to tell whether the image is a fake image or a real. If your discriminator is giving you output as 0, that means it is saying that output is a fake image, and if it is giving you output as 1, that simply means that image is a real image, right? The stage 1 task is completed. Stage 1 has given us this image which have rough details of our image, right? Now the generator of stage 1, the output of the generator of stage 1 will become the input to stage 2. Okay, so stage 2 generator is taking this 64 into 64 image plus the embedding vector from here, right? So these are the two inputs we will give to our generator to stage 2 generator. Now stage 2 generator will try to refine the results, right? Which results they are refining? They are refining generator of stage 2 is refining this particular image which have rough details, right? And it will, after some work, it will give you a image of size 256 into 256. So this is a high resolution image now. So from low resolution image, our generator of stage 2 is giving us an image of high resolution which is 256 into 256. Now you can see over here, this is the image based on this text we are getting. The car is of red color. So this car is of red color, but over here the resolution was low, but stage 2 is working on worked on that low resolution image, and it refined that image and it gave us this 256 into 256 image. Again we have a discriminator, and discriminator will find out whether the image is a real image or a fake image. So this is the basic idea of StackGAN. Now the thing which I have explained to you, we are going to write the code for the same. So let's begin. So guys, the first thing is we need data on which we want to work. So the data which I'm using for this class is that data is already available. So in my today's class we are going to use that data only. In the same way we can work on any other data set. Okay, so what you need to do is create 3 folders. First of all, just create one folder in which we are going to work on a StackGAN, and inside that folder create 3 folders. First folder name should be weights. You need to have create these folders only because we have used these folder name in our code. So if you choose different name, then you have to do the changes in a code also. So just create a weights folder. Why we are creating this weights folder? This weight folder will have all the trained weights inside it. Once we start the training, we will get all our trained models inside this weights folder. And then we have one folder, then you have to create one folder with the name of test. This test folder will have all the images which are generated by generator of stage 1. Okay, stage 1 generator, that means low resolution images. And results underscore stage 2, you have to create this folder also. This folder will store the images which are generated by the generator of stage 2. Okay, test folder will store the images of generator of stage 1, and results underscore stage 2 results underscore stage 2 folder will store the generated images of stage 2, and weights folder will store all the weights which after training which we'll get, right? So you have to create these 3 folders, right? Now you have these folders. Now we need a dataset on which we want to work. So in my GitHub notebook I have given this link. You can directly click on this link and it will redirect you to this page. So we are using this particular dataset, Caltech UCSD boards, right? So this is the dataset we are using. When you scroll down, you can see this dataset have 200 different categories, means we have data which belongs to 200 different birds. This is a dataset of birds, so we have 200 different categories, and in those 200 different categories we have these many images of different birds, right? And you can download this dataset. Okay, where is the download link? So okay, you can find, okay, from here you can click somewhere over here and you can get this dataset, right? From this page you can download this dataset. Once you download this dataset, you will get, let me open the, so guys, what I have done is I have created one folder with this name, birds underscore implementation. Inside this folder, you can see I have test, weights and results underscore stage 2 folder. And now this birds folder is a folder in which I have my dataset. Means when you will download this dataset from here, you will get one zip file, birds.zip file. When you will unzip it, you will get this folder birds. Now let's open this birds folder and see what all things we have in this dataset. So when you'll open this folder, you'll see these many files and folders. So train folder is used to train our algorithm, test folder is used to test our algorithm. Now let's see what is there in this train folder. Inside this train folder, okay guys, sorry, this is basically a embedding vector, right? So what I have told you is, over here you can see I have told you first task is to convert your text into embedding vector, right? And for converting the text into embedding vector, we can use word2vec or embedding model. So in this birds folder, we are storing the embedding vector with basically we are having different captions over here, and the images are in different folder. Let me show you the images first, then we'll come back to this folder. So guys, sorry, this is the image folder cub 200 and 2011. Inside this folder we have images folder. When you open images folder, you can see we have 200 folders. 200 folders simply means one folder is for one category. So first folder have this bird, and when you will open it, you can see the related images. In the same way, when you will open, let's say we are clicking on this, you will get the related images of this particular category. So why we have 200 folders? Because this dataset have 200 different categories, and we have different folder for each category and in every category. So this is the label name, basically this is the bird name, and inside it you will get the image of that particular bird. So inside image is clear. Now over here you will have different attributes, and these things are not that important right now for you. The important thing is images, and in images we have 200 folders, right? Now for every bird, so suppose we have these many birds over here. So when we want the task is text to image generator, image generation. So these are the images, but we need some captions for these birds, right? All those captions are present in this birds folder, right? So I have told you this, you know from where to get it. You will get this from this particular link, right? And now let's talk about this birds folder in which we have all our embeddings, right? So let's say when you open it, okay, so when you open inside this bird folder, we have this folder. When you will open it, you can see that over here also you are having 200 different folders, right? Now let's open one folder. We are opening one folder. Now over here you can see we have lots of text files. So how many text files we are having? So we are having those many text files. It depends upon the images which are present in the same folder, right? Remember I have shown you 200 different folders, and in every folder we are having lots of images, and these text files depends upon those images, right? The number will be same in both the folders. Now let's open one text file and see what is there. So now you can see we have different text over here, right? Now these are the different texts. Now computer will not understand the text in this format. So what we need to do is we need to perform text embedding. That means we have to convert these words into numbers. We have to perform integer encoding. And how we can perform integer encoding? Using the embedding layer or word2vec embedding vector, right? So we are not performing that because that part is already being done. And you can see inside this train folder, this is the embedding model on this birds dataset is already being done. So we are using that ready-made code from there. We are using that model. Okay, so for training data, the embedding vector model is this: class info.pickle and file name info.pickle. What we have, what are these two things? So these two things, again I have mentioned it over here so that it will help you out. So first of all, this is the file you get. So what it is a pre-trained embeddings to the text, right? And then we have file names.pickle. What it has? File names of the images. The images which we have all the file names present in this file. And class info simply mean classes for each image, right? So we have, for training we have these three files, and in test folder also you will have these three files. And in this folder, these are the 200 different folders for each image, and for each image we have some text. That text file is present here, and their related images present in this Cubs 200 2011 folder. Inside the image we have 200 folders, and in these folders we have the related images. I hope the dataset is clear now. Okay, so from where I'm getting this dataset, all the links are present. Dataset you can get it from here, and the text embedding model. And guys, one more thing I want to tell you, the code which I have used, I have taken reference from this particular GitHub repo. So when you'll scroll down, just scroll down, and you can see you can get the pre-trained from this link. I have downloaded the text embedding model, right? So when you click on it, it will redirect to you the Google Drive, and you can directly download from here, right? So when you click on this download, you will get this birds folder. Unzip it. Now you have birds folder where you have your text embedding, and you have this folder in which you have your dataset, right? Remember guys, so now you, after that you'll have these three folder: weights, test and result stage 2, Cubs 200 to this one, and the birds folder. These two folders are responsible for your task because our dataset is here, right? Now let's move to the next part. So now the next part is, first of all we will write the code for this embedding vector, conditioning augmentation, and the stage 1, right? So let's scroll down. These are the required modules. So I have imported all the required modules, and after that now we are writing code for this part. We'll give the input text, we'll convert it into embedding vector, we'll perform conditioning augmentation. So this much code we have done in this much of block. So basically what we have done is we have created one function with the name of conditioning augmentation, where we are performing this task. Okay, and then we are building a conditioning augmentation network. Basically this function we will use in this particular network. You have to create one network, a small network, which will do the conditioning augmentation. So we, first of all, what we have done is we have created a separate function with the name of conditioning augmentation, and we are calling that function over here. So guys, don't worry, I'll explain you this code in some time. Right now just understand these two functions are responsible for conditioning augmentation. Okay, so next thing is generator network. Which generator? Generator of stage 1, because we have to write a code for stage 1, then only you can work on stage 2. So now we are working on stage 1. So yeah, so the task of stage 1 is to take input. Which input it will take? Text embedding, right? And it will generate an image on the basis of that text, right? So first of all, we have created one function with the name of upsampling block. See, we can perform upsampling by two different ways. We can use upsample layer, upsampling 2D layer, right? And the other way to upsample your code is upsample your images. You can use con 2D transpose, right? But in my today's class, what we are using is we are using upsampling 2D. Upsampling 2D simply means when you want to upsample your image, means let's suppose the size of image is 4 into 4 into 3, but you want to make it 8 into 8 into 3, right? You want to increase the height and width of your image. Previously the width and height is 4 into 4, now you want is 8 into 8 image. So you can use upsampling 2D layer to increase the size of your image, right? And we have created one function with the name of upsampling block, right? And while upsampling, these two parameters are important. X simply means the image which you want to upsample, and the number of kernels means number of filters, feature maps you want to create, you use, right? So let's start with the functionality. Let's see what we have done over here. X equals to upsampling 2D. Upsampling 2D is a layer by which we can upsample the image by doubling the size. Upsampling 2D simply means you want to double the size of your image, and this 2,2 simply means the first 2 is for rows and second 2 is for columns, means you want to upsample the row and the column of the image, right? And then we are using con 2D layer, and then batch normalization, and then ReLU. See, why we are using batch normalization? Because sometimes what happen, we want to sometimes what happen is you can face the problem of mode collapse. Mode collapse simply means on different inputs, right, your generator will give you a similar kind of generated image, right? So to prevent that problem, we are using a batch normalization, right? And then we are using a ReLU function, right, activation function, and you will get a upsampled image. So for upsampling, we have created this function, and this function we will use in generator. Now here we are writing a code for generator. For generator, I have created a separate function. So input layer, what generator needs? Generator needs the embedding text, right? When you want to generate an image, what two things are required? So when you want to generate an image, what two things are required? You need an embedding vector on this data, and you need a random noise. You will give embedding vector and random noise to your generator, right? So that's what I'm going to do here. This is the first input. This is basically this embedding vector of fixed size 1024. Okay, so this embedding vector, then we in next layer, this is a variable, and we are using 256 neurons over here, means this input will come to this dense layer, and then we'll use leaky ReLU, and you will get we are doing conditioning augmentation. Remember the function we have created above, conditioning augmentation, we are doing that, right? So this is about the first input to your generator, which is text embedding. Text embedding size is fixed to this. Then we are using 256, and 256 simply means these 1024 different numeric values, which one value is for one text, right? That value is going to a next layer which have 256 neurons. Basically what we are doing is this is kind of, you know, we are compressing our text embedding. Why we are compressing our text embedding? Because see guys, let's suppose see, compressing is simply means when you are not compressing the this embedding layer, what will happen? It will take more time to train, it will consume more resources, right? So that's why we have used 256 neurons, so that we can compress that 1024 data embedding vector is going to a dense layer of 256 neurons, and we are compressing the size of our embedding, right? And then we are performing conditioning augmentation on it, right? So this conditioning augmentation we have defined above. Now let's talk about the second input. Second input is 100. Remember random noise? So generator will take two input. One is text embedding that we have discussed in these many lines. Now we are talking about second input. The second input is a random noise of size 100. So why we are using 100? Because most of the papers have used it, so I'm working on that only. But this is not like a rule. You can use different values and you can see the different results. Okay, so this is a random noise. Now we want to concatenate the random noise, right? And what we want is, we want to concatenate the random noise. So this is C. What is there in C? We have a embedding vector, right? After doing whole of the work, after doing conditioning augmentation, we are storing that embedding vector in C variable. So over here we are using concatenate. What we want to concatenate? We want to concatenate this C with the input layer 2. This is the input layer 2. What is there in input layer 2? Random noise of 100, right? So this is what generator needs. So we have concatenated it. So what task we have done over here? This task we have done over here. Embedding vector, we are concatenating this embedding vector with this random noise, and we get something, this d-dimensional array now. Okay, now what this d-dimensional array, let's see that. Yeah, so in next layer we are using dense layer, and the size of dense layer is 16384. Now how and why we are using this 16384, we'll come to it. Over here we are giving that concat, this d-dimensional array. Where is our, we have performed the concatenation and we get some d-dimensional array. That d-dimensional array is stored in this concat variable. That the output of previous layer will become the input to next layer. So that dense layer become input to next layer, and in next layer we are using 16384 neurons. Why we are using this 16384 neurons? So for that, just see below over here, when you will multiply 4 into 4 into 1024, you will get 16384, right? So basically what we are saying is, from where we are getting this 4 into 4? So guys, when we want to in my previous, if you have already seen my previous videos on GAN network, then you can relate that in my previous videos also I've told you that we start the code by a very low resolution image, and which is 4 into 4, right? So that's why we have used this 4 into 4, right? And we will keep on upsampling our image. And why we are starting with a low resolution image of 4 into 4? Because we want our algorithm to learn on a low resolution image, because we want our algorithm to learn the simplest problem means low resolution image. Once, and stage by stage, layer by layer, we will keep on upsampling our image. So once our algorithm learn how to handle 4 into 4 image, then in next layer we'll provide it a 8 into 8 image, and then next layer we'll provide it to it a 16 into 16 image, and then 32 into 32, and then 64 into 64 image. What will happen if we'll work in this way? So your algorithm will learn properly, because it is learning on a simple problems first, and then it is moving to a complex problem, right? It is learning from a low resolution images first, and then it is moving to a high resolution image. So that's why we have used this 4 into 4. And this 1024, why we need it? Because the embedding vector size is this, and 4 into 4 into 1024 is 16384, right? So right now this is a dense layer, and we are providing this data from here, and then we have ReLU, and then we are reshaping it, because we need data in the form of two-dimensional image. We need the image, so that's why we are doing like this. Okay, after that you can see upsampling block. So we have performed upsampling these many times, and finally after this stage you will get a image of size 64 into 64 into 3. Remember why I'm talking about 64 into 64 into 3? Over here, stage 1 generator will give you a output fake image of size 64 into 64 into 3. This is what we want to generate, right? And we have started our code. We have started the image resolution of 4 into 4, right? So we need to upsample it, then only we can achieve the required desired results. So we are upsampling that 4 into 4 image sometimes to reach at this resolution. Okay, so let me show you. So guys, remember, this is the upsampling 2D function which we have created above, and what we are using over there is we are using upsampling 2D. And what upsampling 2D does is whenever you will apply this upsampling 2D, it will double the size of the image. So if the image size is 4 into 4, it will double it, which will become 8 into 8. And then if you'll apply upsampling 2D on 8 into 8 image, it will again double, which will become 16 into 16. I'll show you all these things now. Okay, so over here we have performed upsampling many times, and finally you will get the 64 into 64 into 3 image. This 512, this 256 and this 128, these are the number of filters we are using. Okay, this is the input image and this is the number of filters we are using. Okay, now for okay, after that over here we are using the TANH activation function, and now finally stage 1 generator we are calling a model. We want to create a model, actually stage 1 generator, right? So what will be the input to this generator? If you want to create a generator model, then we need to provide input to our model. What is the input to our model? Input layer 1 and input layer 2. What is there in input layer 1? Embedding vector. And what is there in input layer 2? Random noise, right? Remember from here, input layer 1 is having a embedding vector of fixed length this, and input layer 2 is having a random shape. Once you provide this input to your network, what your network will give you, generator will give you a generated image from here, right? And this CA simply means the text embedding, this text embedding from here, right? So this will be the output of generator. Now let's call this function. I'm calling this generator build function over here, and let's see the summary, what kind of output our algorithm is giving. Let me show you this, the summary of our model. So you can see the first input is this, then we are having this 256 neurons in next layer, so this much part belongs to the embedding, and then we have 100 random noise. The main task starts from here, which I want to show you. Once you reshaped your image into this size, you can see after upsampling that size become 8 into 8 into 1024, double. Why? Because we have used the upsampling 2D. And then in next, when you applied upsampling 2D next time, the 8 into 8 into 512 becomes 16 into 16 into 512. And after that, when you applied upsampling next time, your image size becomes 32 into 32. And then finally, when you applied upsampling 2D on 32 into 32 image, you get this 64 into 64. And then we have reduced the number of channel, and finally you can see this is the image which we are getting from our generator of size 64 into 64 into 3. This is the size of image we want, right? So we got this size from generator. So task of generator is completed, stage 1. Now let's talk about the discriminator of stage 1. So let me show you the discriminator. This is the discriminator of stage 1, and this is the fake image and real image. Now the fake image will go to the discriminator. And now let's see the task of that. So this is the discriminator of stage 1. So guys, remember, I have told you in the beginning of our today's class also and in my last class also that discriminator will take the input in the form of pair. Which pair? Image and text pair. The fake image and the text embedding with it. So you will give the input to discriminator in the form of pair, and the task of discriminator is to classify, to provide us output as 0 or 1. It will give you output as 0 if the image is a fake image, and it will give you output as 1 if that image is a real image, right? So you can see the pairs over here also. You can see here, if you are providing this pair, you are providing real image and real caption to your discriminator, then discriminator will give you output as 1. But if you are giving wrong image and real caption, if you are providing this pair to your discriminator, it will give you output as 0. And if you will give fake image and real caption, then again it will give you output as 0. Okay, so this is how it works. Now let's see in the form of code. And guys, one more thing, when we use generator, we upsample our image, and when we use discriminator on our generated image, then we downsample. Okay, so now you can see this function, this define con block function. The task of this function is to downsample our image, and finally classifier will tell whether the image is a fake image or a real image. Okay, so what we are using here is the kernel size is 4x4 and stride is 2. When we use stride 2, so guys, if in convolutional neural network, how we reduce the image size? We use pooling layer to reduce the size. And let's suppose if you are not using pooling layer, then how you reduce the size? By stride 2, right? So if you'll apply the formula n plus 2p minus f by s, right, that formula. So if you are aware about that formula, then simply what I want to say is, with the help of stride 2 also you can decrease the size of your image. Okay, using pooling layer also you can decrease the size of your image, and using stride 2 also you can decrease the size of your image. So we are not using, you can see we are not using pooling layer anywhere. So what we are using is, we are using stride 2, and using this stride 2 you can reduce the size of your image, you can downsample your image. Okay, so this function is basically for that. And then we have another function, okay, build embedding compressor. So guys, from the name only it is clear, embedding compressor. Basically what we want is, we want to compress our embedding vector. Why we want to compress our embedding vector? Because let's suppose you have lots of vocabulary, there are thousands or millions of different words present in your data set, right? So, and for every word there will be a unique numeric value, right, integer value. Then your algorithm will take lots of time to train, right, because we have lots of data. So it will take more time to get training on, and you need more resources. Okay, so what we are doing is, we are compressing our embedding vector in order to increase the performance. Okay, in order to increase the speed of training. So this function is doing that only. So input is 1024 embedding vector, and we have 128 neurons in the next layer. So basically over here we are compressing the size of our embedding vector. Okay, so these are just small two functions. Now this function is important. Over here in this function we are creating the code for discriminator. So let's see what the code is. So what will be the input to discriminator? Input to discriminator will be a pair of image and a text, and what will the image which is generated from generator. Which image is generated from generator? The image of size 64 into 64 and the text embedding with it. This will become the input to discriminator. So input layer 1, So now you are clear about this. So this is the size of the image which we have, which we get from generator, 64 into 64 into 3. This is the one input to discriminator. So on this image we are using convolutional neural network, convolutional layer, and we are using stride 2 and kernel size is this, right? And after that you can see we have used that conn block multiple times. What this conn block is? This conn block is the function which we have created here. And what is the task of this conn block? To downsample your image, right? Downsample means reduce the image layer by layer. So that's what we are doing. Once we give the image of size this to our network, our discriminator will use a conn block function several times, and after calling that layer, after calling that function several times, we will downsample our image. So now once you downsample your image to this size 4 into 4, now what this 128 is, remember guys, 128 simply means we have used this embedding compressor over here, and what we have done is we have reduced the embedding vector size to 128. So this is that embedding vector, okay? So when you downsample your image after these many steps, you will get a image size of 4 into 4, and this 128 simply means the text embedding. Now what we are doing is, what is there in X? The image of size 4 into 4. What is there in input layer 2? This is layer in input layer 2. We are concatenating them, okay? Once you concatenate them, so see, you can do, we have used convolutional layer, and finally we are flat, because discriminator is a classifier, so you need to flatten your image, right? So then only you can perform the classification. Whenever you want to perform the classification, what you need to do is you need to flatten your image. So over here we are flattening our image, right? And finally we are using dense layer, and over here we are using one neuron, because this is a binary classification problem. It will, your discriminator will give you output as 1 if you are will give you output as 1 if the sample is a real sample, and it will give you output as 0 if that sample is a fake sample. So this is the activation function sigmoid we are using, right? Because we want to perform classification. Then now over here we want to make a model. So what is the input to discriminator? That is present in input layer 1 and input layer 2. This and this. These are the two inputs to a network. And what will be the output? Discriminator will give you only one output, which is the output of sigmoid function, which is 0 or 1, 0 for fake image and 1 for real image. So now we have created a stage 1 discriminator also, right? Now let's see the summary of this model discriminator. So when you will see the summary, you can see this is our first input, the size is this, we are downsampling it, right? So we have downsampled to 32 into 32, and then we again downsampled it, and then we have downsampled it, and we have downsampled it, okay? And after that, this is a dense layer, so we have this dense layer over here, and finally we have one neuron which is telling us, giving us the output. So now we have created two models. One is for generator, one is for discriminator, right? So these are separate models right now. Now we want to make a we want to build a GAN network, right? We want to tell which network should work first, which network should work second, right? So we want to build a network now. So for that we have another function with the name of build adversarial, and the input to this network is generator model and discriminator model. Means to build your stage 1 network, to build this, okay, give me a second please. To build this stage 1 network. Right now we have only studied the code for generator and code for discriminator. Now we want to make them in a working condition, right? We want to build a model. So stage 1 model. So now the code which I'm showing you, this one. So over here we have created one function, and generator model and discriminator model are the arguments for this model. So this is very simple. Input layer 1, which is embedding vector. Input layer 2, this is a random size. Input layer 3, this is the discriminators output. When I've shown you the working, so you have seen that I've explained you this, right? So from there we are getting it. So over here, x and ca, in these variables we are calling the generator model. So this generator model, right? The generator model which we have defined above. So input to generator is this. So remember guys, when I've explained you the code for generator, so I've told you that generator will take two inputs. One is the text embedding and other one is a random noise. So input layer 1 is a text embedding, input layer 2 is a random noise. Okay. And discriminator model dot trainable is false. Guys, we are not training our discriminator here. We are training our discriminator separately. So why we are training our discriminator separately? Because if you train your discriminator over here, then what will happen? Basically, when generator is getting training and then we are training the discriminator, what will happen that your discriminator will get impacted by the generator every time, because over here we are not we are not doing any extra step to train our discriminator. So see guys, what the thing is, we train discriminator separately always, right? Because over here, if you'll train your discriminator with your generator, the performance of discriminator will decrease. Okay. And because discriminator got it will come under the influence of generator, and it will believe whatever generator is doing is correct after some time. So we are training discriminator separately. So that's why discriminator model dot trainable is false over here. Okay. And then over here you can see we are calling the discriminator model. We have trained it separately, but we are calling discriminator model over here. So the x from here, the image which is generated by generator, we are giving that image to discriminator, and this input layer 3. So if you want to understand again what is it I have explained you above, so we are using that over here. And then finally we are creating adversarial model. We are creating we are building a model. So this is what it is. So whenever you want to build this whole model, you need these three inputs. Okay. And what would be the output? Output would be the probabilities means we are using softmax function, so it will give you a probability that whether the generated image is a fake image or a real image. And this is the text embedding, the text which we have created, right? And finally we will get the output. So now we have created a model for stage 1. So now let's see the summary of this model also. So you can see we are calling it, and then we are checking the summary. These are the three inputs to it, and finally it will give you the output. This output 1 simply means it will tell you whether the sample is a fake sample or a real sample. Okay, so this is how you can build your generator. You can build your generator and discriminator and separately, and then we are combining together in a separate function. So this is how it works, right? Now we are ready. Now let's see the training process for stage 1. Okay, so for training, So guys, these are the few different functions we have, right? So these functions are basically, if you'll see, we are loading the different files. Remember, we have so many files in our dataset, so if you want to work on them, so we have to import all those files over here. So we are importing all those files. We are loading the text embedding file, we are loading the class id files, right? And then we have we are loading the images from our dataset. We are loading the whole dataset. You can see the paths. These are the different paths we have our data set, right? So these functions are very basic functions. We are just loading our data set, and this function is responsible to save your generated images in your result underscore stage 2 folder, which I have told you in the very beginning that you have to create 3 folders, right? So you have one folder with the name of test, and you have one folder with the name of results underscore stage 2, and in those folders we want to store the generated images from stage 1 and stage 2. This is the function which will help you storing those images. So these are just helper functions, okay? Now let's start the training process of stage 1. So for that we have created one class, StackGAN stage 1, okay? So in this, first of all, these are the path of my pickle files and my images, and then we have what we are saying over here is conditioning dimension 128. We have used above 128, right? So what we have done is we have compressed our text embedding into this size 128, so that's why we are writing this. Image size would be 64, right? And so these are this is a learning rate, batch size is 64, zdim is that random noise size, and we want to train our algorithm for 500 epochs. These kind of things we have given over here. So you can see here, stage 1 optimizer, we are using Adam optimizer. For discriminator of stage 1 we are using this optimizer. We are building build underscore stage 1 generator. This is the function we have defined above, in which we have explained, we have written a neural network for stage 1 generator, right? We are building the network, we are compiling it, and then we are calling the discriminator function, neural network which is having a code for discriminator. We are compiling it, and then we are calling that build CA network which is responsible for conditioning augmentation. We are compiling it, and then we are calling the compressor, embedding compressor, which will compress the embeddings, and then we are compiling it, and then we are over here we are calling the build adversarial network, which is responsible to build our network. So what we are doing is we are stacking generator and discriminator in this, and we are finally working on it, and we are compiling it. After that, over here we want to store the checkpoints, so this is for that. So this is again a function which will show you the results on TensorBoard, okay? And now this train underscore stage 1 is a function which will perform the training, okay? So we have 2 lists in it. So this is for training data, this is for testing data, this is for real sample, this is for fake sample, and then we have 2 blank lists. Generator loss list will store the generator losses, and this will store the discriminator losses for all the 500 epochs, right? Okay, so we are running the code now, okay? So when you will run this code, okay, over here the output is not yes. So now we are calling that class StackGAN stage 1, and we are using which function? Train underscore stage 1. Where is train underscore stage 1 function? This is the train underscore stage 1. And what we want to train? We want to train this StackGAN class, the StackGAN stage 1 class, okay? So this is how you can train, okay? Once you start the training, you will see after you will see this, for every batch you will get this discriminator loss, and you will get a generator loss, right? Scroll down, and once you see guys, I have stopped this process after 1 epoch only, because it will take so much of time to train your network on it. So I just want to show you the process. So I have stopped my training after first epoch only. So you can see after first epoch, these are the images which are created. Okay, so let me show you where you will get these images of stage 1. So you have a test folder which we have created at the very first step. Open it. So these are few images which you get from the initial epoch of your generator of stage 1. Okay, so this is how you'll get images over here. So you can see that we have random noise, and that on the basis of the random noise and on the basis of that text embedding, we got these images. Okay, so these are the images. Now let's see the weights, because when you train your algorithm, so we have trained the stage 1 generator and discriminator, right? So we will get weights also. So for that, open this weights folder, right? So this weight folder we have created in the beginning, and I've told you that we will get the weights over here after training. So you can see stage 1 till here. So these are the weight files you will get after the training process. So I have trained my model on first epoch only. So these are the weight file which I get after first epoch. So you can see for everything, generator weight file, and this is compressed embedding weight file, discriminator weight file, and this is for conditioning augmentation, and this is for the adversarial network. So we got these weights file, and in the same way now I'll show you how to train your stage 2, and after that you will get these weight files for your stage 2, right? So now let's see what is there in stage 2. So let's scroll down, and yeah, so we were here. Now we want to implement the stage 2 generator. So guys, now I have already explained you line by line, so now I'll just give you a brief idea like how this stage 2 is working. Okay, so let's see the stage 2 generator. This is the stage 2 generator. Stage 2 generator, what will stage 2 generator get? Stage 2, the output image, the generated image from stage 1 will become the input to stage 2, right? Stage 2 generator, and we will give the text embedding. Okay, text embedding, and the image from stage 1, which is of size 64 into 64 into 3, will become the input to the stage 2 generator. Okay, so this is the input layer, this is text embedding, and this is the 64 into 64 into 3, the image size. Okay, then so these are the same layers which I have explained you above, right? We are doing upsampling, and after, because now the task of stage 2 generator is to generate an image of size 256 into 256 into 3, right? And the input which it is getting is 64 into 64 into 3. So that means we need to upsample the image which is of size 64 into 64 into 3 to this 256 into 256 into 3. So for that we are using that upsampling block, where we are using 2D upsampling layer. Okay, and then this again we are creating a model. These are the two inputs which you have to give your generator of stage 2, and this is the output you will get. So X is the image 250, which will be of size, there's 256 into 256, right, into 3, and this is which we have performed above. This is the MLS. Okay, where we are applying conditioning augmentation. So now let's see the summary of stage 2 generator. So this is the one input. Okay, this is the text embedding. Now we want to downsample this image, so we upsample the image. So scroll down, and what we are checking is, yeah, you can see we are performing upsampling, and finally you are getting a size of 256 into 256 into 3. So this is what generator of stage 2 will give you. In the same way, now we have discriminator. Again, discriminator will accept the input in the form of pair, image and caption pair. right? Image and text embedding. So now this time this will be the input size which will go to the discriminator of stage 2, because generator of stage 2 have generated the image of this size, so this image will become the input to discriminator 2, right? In the same way, we are using con block to downsample our image because we want to perform the classification now, and we have performed that con block many times, and finally we reached with this size, right? This 128. Why we are getting? Because we have compressed our embedding. All these things I've told you above, right? So we are flattening our layer, we are using sigmoid function, and we are creating a discriminator model. Now you can see the summary of discriminator model. So this is the size of the input. We are downsampling our image from 256 into 256 into 3. We downsampled our image to 4 into 4 into this 5 and 2, right? And finally we have one neuron which is telling, because this is a classifier which is telling us whether this is a real or a fake image. Okay, now we have separately created the generator and discriminator as we performed in stage 1. So in stage 2 also we are having an adversarial network where stage 2 discriminator, generator 2, and stage 1 generator. Why we are using stage 1 generator over here? Because we are taking the output of stage 1 generator, the fake image which is generated from stage 1, we are using it in stage 2, so that's why we are writing it over here. So these are the 3 parameters we needed to create a model, build a model of stage 2. Okay, so you can see these are the required parameters, and we have stacked all those images. The important thing to note over here is this. See, in stage 1 we only I have told you not to train your discriminator over here because we are doing it separately, right? So discriminator of stage 2 is trainable equals to false because we don't want to train. Even stage 1 generator dot trainable equals to false. Why? Because this generator is already been trained earlier, so we don't want to train it again, so that's why it is false. Okay, so again we are creating a model, and finally it will give us the probability and the conditioned augmentation text, right? So we are building a model again, we are checking a summary. You can see the summary, right? Now this is a class GAN stage 2. The same, see, this is the same type of class which we have used for stage 1. The only difference is the inputs and output would be a little bit different, right? So again all those parameters are here. You can see we are building everything. We are building generator, we are building generator, discriminator, everything we are doing in the same way only. And we have one function, train underscore stage 2. So while training the stage 1 generator, so we were having a function with the name of train underscore stage 1, which is responsible for training your stage 1 model, and this is a function which will train your stage 2, and this whole function. And after that we want to save all the weights. After training we want to save all the weights in a weight folder with these names. I have shown you these files inside a weight folder, right? So I got these files once I train my algorithm. So I'm training like this. So again I have trained. Okay, so guys, stage 1 I have trained only for 1 epoch, and this I have trained for 5 or 6 epochs. Okay, let me see. I have trained this stage 2. Okay, let me see. I guess I have trained it for 5 or 6 epochs. Now let's see what kind of images we get after this. Okay, after 5 or 6 epochs. So for that we have one folder with the name of results underscore stage 2. This again we have created at the beginning. So you can see these images we get after the first epoch, right? When we trained our algorithm of generator of stage 2, this is what we get. These kind of images we got, right, at stage 2, and these images we get after 5 epochs, right? So these are the generated images after 5th epoch. right? So as I've told you, I've stopped the process in between, so we are not getting a sensible results right now. But when you'll train your algorithm for around 300 epochs, you will get good results, right? So you will get the images as per, conditioned by your text. So as our text is like, the car is of red color, so you will get a proper image of a car with a red color, right? So why we are not getting proper results? Because we have trained our algorithm on very less data first of all, and I've just trained it for 5 or 6 epochs. But this is how you can, create your StackGAN network. Now we have all our weights. We have saved our weights of stage 1 and stage 2 inside this weights folder. Now you can use these trained model to test your your algorithm. Okay, so guys, that's it. This is how you can use your StackGAN. So I'm giving you the link of GitHub in my description section. You can try this code. You can try running this code for more epochs so that it will give you a sensible results, right? So that's it, guys. Hope you like my video, and thank you for watching.